In the previous video, we generated an isometric view from two given orthographic views. If you haven't watched that yet, I highly recommend checking it out first. It will help you understand the reverse process we are about to cover. Now, in this example, we are going to do the opposite. We will generate orthographic views from a given isometric drawing. So let's start. First, we need to establish the drawing layout by defining the overall space for our views. Before we start drawing, we must set up our first angle projection layout. This means we are going to arrange our views on the sheet using the first angle system rules. To begin, we first need to set up a framework. This is where we draw construction lines or guidelines. We start by drawing a cross on our sheet. First, draw a horizontal line across your sheet. This horizontal line serves two purposes. In the positive direction, to the right, it represents the x-axis, guiding the width of both the front view and the top view. In the negative direction, to the left, it also represents the y-axis, guiding the depth of the right side view. Since in first angle projection, the right side view is placed on the left side of the front view. Next, draw a vertical line for our z-axis. This vertical line also serves two purposes. In the positive direction, upward, it represents the z-axis, guiding the height of the front view and the right side view. In the negative direction, downward, it represents the y-axis, guiding the depth of the top view, since in first angle projection, the top view is placed below the front view. Draw them lightly, use a very faint line. We will darken the final drawing later. To prepare our layout, we need to create a maximum size rectangle for each view. This rectangle will contain all the features for that view. Front view rectangle, 70 units on x. Width, times 45 units on z, height. Side view rectangle, 60 units on y. Depth, times 45 units on z, height. Draw these rectangles lightly on your sheet. Use a light line, not bold, because these are just construction lines to guide your drawing. We will darken the final lines later. Now our first angle layout is set up, and we can begin projecting the details from our isometric drawing into each view. Let's start with the front view. As explained earlier, each view is made from planes, and each plane is defined by two axes. For the front view, the planes are defined by the x-axis, width, and z-axis, height. This means any line or surface that lies on the xz plane will appear in the front view. Now, look at the isometric drawing. The front-facing surface has an inclined line. Below that inclined line, there are three partitions. Each of these partitions is formed using lines along the x and z axes. Since they lie on the xz plane, they are visible from the front. So, we draw them inside the 70 by 45 rectangle we prepared for the front view. Now let's check the other planes that use x and z axes. We find two more planes. Plane Q. This plane is fully visible from the front. No other surface blocks it. Plane K, this plane is also on the xz plane, but it is hidden behind another surface. Since both plane Q and plane K are on the xz plane, they should both appear in the front view. However, plane K is not directly visible, it is shielded by another feature. So, we draw plane Q using a solid line, visible. For plane K, we must use a hidden, dashed, line to show that it exists but is not visible from the front. Now we have completed the front view with both visible and hidden features. Let's move to the top view. We know that the width of the front view on the x-axis is the same as the width of the top view. So, we can project vertical lines downward from the front view into the top view area. This gives us the width of each feature. Now, we need the depth information. We get the depth from the isometric drawing, which is measured along the y-axis. So, by projecting vertical lines from the front view and combining them with the depth information from the isometric view, we can accurately place each feature in the top view. In the top view, any plane that is made using the x-axis, width, and y-axis, depth, will be visible. So, we draw all planes that lie on the xy plane using solid lines. Now, let's look at the inclined plane. From the front view, this inclined plane appears as a single inclined line. But from the top view, it appears as a plane, a rectangle or a surface. So, on the top view, we draw this inclined plane as a visible surface because it lies on the xy plane. After the inclined plane, there are two additional planes. Let's name them plane J and plane N. These planes are made using lines on the x-axis and y-axis. That is why they are visible from the top view. When we look at these planes from the top view, they appear as true shaped surfaces. But from the front view, these same planes become just a single line. Why? Because the front view only shows the x-axis and z-axis. The y-axis, depth, is not visible from the front. Without the y-axis, the plane collapses into a line along the x-axis only. Now, to draw these planes accurately in the top view, we need a guide. Divide the top view area at the midpoint of its depth, y-axis. The total depth is 60 units, so the midpoint is at 30 units. This center line helps us position plane N correctly. Plane N is located at the center, on the right end of the top view maximum rectangle. Plane J is located 12 units down from the top edge of the top view maximum rectangle. Draw both planes using solid lines because they are visible from the top view. Now we have completed the top view with all visible features. Let's move to the side view. To project the side view accurately, we could take dimensions directly from the isometric drawing. However, this method is not always proportional or accurate enough for a proper technical drawing. So, we use a standard projection technique. We draw a 45-degree line. This line is placed below the side view area and to the left of the top view area. This 45-degree line serves an important purpose. It replicates or transfers horizontal lines from the top view into the side view area. This gives us the depth information for each plane in the side view. Now, we also need height information. The horizontal lines projected from the front view give us the height boundaries for each plane in the side view. So, we project horizontal lines from the front view. These give height, z-axis. Horizontal lines from the top view. These are transferred using the 45-degree line to give depth, y-axis. After projecting these lines, we can see the features in the side view area. We see a 10 by 60 rectangle at the bottom, below the 60 by 45 maximum rectangle of the side view. But generally, from this direction, we can see 4 planes. In the isometric drawing, there are 4 planes that are made using lines on the y-axis, depth, and z-axis, height. These are the planes that will appear in the side view. So, we draw these 4 planes inside the side view maximum rectangle using solid lines where they are visible. Now, let's draw the upper hole. We have already drawn the hole in the front view and top view. The remaining feature to complete is the hole in the side view. This means we need information from both views to place it correctly in the side view. We do not need to measure directly from the isometric drawing, we can project everything from the views we already have. First, we need the height information. The height comes from the z-axis, which is shown in the front view. So, we project 2 horizontal lines from the front view into the side view area. These 2 lines give us the height boundary for the hole, which is 10 units. Next, we need the depth information. The depth is shown in the top view as 16 units. To transfer this depth into the side view, we project 2 horizontal lines from the top view toward the 45-degree line. Once they reach the 45-degree line, they bend upward into the side view area. This gives us the width information, 16 units, for the hole in the side view. Next, we have a 24 by 16 rectangle. To position this rectangle in the side view, we need height information from the front view, which is 16 units. Width information from the top view, which is 24 units. So, we project horizontal lines from the front view for height, and horizontal lines from the top view, via the 45-degree line, for width. This tells us exactly where to place the 24 by 16 rectangle. The remaining feature is the hole at the bottom end, as seen in the top view. To find where this hole appears in the side view, we project horizontal lines from both the top view and front view. As before, width information comes from the top view. Height information comes from the front view. Now, this feature has a hidden line. However, it is not completely hidden, some parts are visible. The height between the 2 projected lines from the front view is visible. But the plane below the lower horizontal line, projected from the front view, is not visible from the side view. So, for that portion, we must use a hidden line. After adding the hidden line, we darken all remaining visible lines with bold lines. Now our problem is complete. We have successfully drawn all three orthographic views from the given isometric drawing using the first angle projection system. I hope this tutorial helped you understand how to convert an isometric drawing into orthographic views using first angle projection. If you found this video helpful, please like, share, and subscribe for more engineering drawing tutorials. See you in the next video.